Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So today we're not gonna check out a video, maybe a few snippets of my and my mother's reaction to the movie Jawan. Yes, after ages I finally watched the movie, and if you want to watch a full reaction then you need to become a member on my Patreon, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So guys, I still want to give you my review after my mother and I watched the movie together. We said a little bit what we thought of the movie, but you know, after I watched the movie, then I also think about some things differently, and yeah, that's why I thought, okay, I need to make this video. So guys, at first I absolutely loved the whole concept of the story, the script in general. This is a really well written story all in all. This also counts, and maybe this opinion is controversial, but this also is in the same category as Animal for me, as I think really leave the controversial aspects aside from this movie, if it's morally great or not. Animal is also really well written movie, so thought through, the characters, but Jawan also is so amazing because every single character had a purpose. Every such small character kind of had a purpose. They were all well written. Obviously it's not a 5-star movie for me, I have to say that, but so much better than all the other Bollywood movies we've gotten, seriously. And yes, you might say, oh my god, this isn't a Bollywood movie, it is directed by a South Indian director. It's still in Hindi language though, so that's why people would consider this a Bollywood movie, but I do get what you mean. Obviously the whole style of this movie isn't completely Bollywood-like. I can immediately see my dog is just chewing on my scarf, but whatever, at least she's busy now. So I could definitely see this South Indian style, and it wasn't really my kind of cup of tea there. So although I really liked the story, it was so well written and thought through. The plot twists, I really loved them. Not all of them were predictable. Some of them, you know, when you watch a movie and you are like, oh my god, this guy is kind of sketchy, like what is his purpose? But then you kind of forget about it, and then later on you're like, oh my god, yes, of course I knew it. Why didn't I just, well, whatever, maybe you know what I mean. But yeah, I like that about the movie, that it always changed and it wasn't as confusing as Pathaan, because Pathaan also had plot twists, but in the end I didn't understand everything. Like, I did understand the twists, but I couldn't understand the story fully in the end, where I was like, what the hell? Because of this medical stuff and all in all. And what I absolutely loved, and Jawan wasn't like that. You could understand the plot twists and the story in the end too as a whole. So I also really love that the movie was so political. I didn't think that, and this is probably why the movie was received so well. Obviously due to Shah Rukh Khan, due to the director and the whole cast and everything, the story. But in general, I think because it was so political and it was mixed with this messy theme, this is probably the biggest aspect of the movie why it did so well. So I just loved it that it talked about so many political things, and we got to know stories of the 6 girls. Well, not all 6, and this is one of the things I didn't like. We got to know 3 stories of 3 girls, but not of the other 3 people. And I'd loved it if we got to know like every story, so that the movie receives this perfectionist level for me. It needed that, to know the story of the other girls too. Then also, what I didn't really like too much was how the love story of Shah Rukh Khan and Nayathara was told. We only got Chalaya, and then it kind of, yeah, you know, I don't want to spoil here anything. This is going to be a clean review, but I didn't like that they didn't really give us more moments of, oh, this is how this is why they fell in love with each other, you know? So without spoiling anything, I needed more of these moments. And now talking about Chalea, this brings me to the music, and the music of the entire movie isn't really my favorite. I only really like Chalea, but the other songs, and I didn't like how they used the music in this movie. Oh my god, what happened? One of the worst aspects of this movie was seriously how they used the music. It's not only due to the fact that I'm not a huge fan of the entire album itself, it's because how they used it, the transitions. There were no transitions at all. Every single kind of song was put in there like an item number, and even some item numbers have better transitions, like a better intro and better outro than how the songs were used in this movie. It was just boom, the song starts, boom, the song ends. And the songs weren't really with much purpose. So yes, I do get some intentions. For example, Chalea was how Nayathara and Shah Rukh Khan fall in love with this. The song with Deepika and Shah Rukh Khan was kind of their introduction scene in the movie. I did get those patterns why they wanted to use those songs, but the transitions, how us, the audience, was put into this was just boom, all of a sudden the song starts, the song ends, where you're just like, okay. It did have a purpose, but wasn't well put into the movie. Yeah, that was just horrible in my opinion. Then about the performances, about Shah Rukh Khan, it was so much better than Pathaan, seriously, from his performance. It's not like he was bad in Pathaan, but I think it was also due to this political aspect that that also makes you act more authentically, you know, as you have like these big purposes, you know, why you do something due to these political aspects and all of that. I really need to be careful how I talk here without spoiling. So I liked his performance, although sometimes I didn't like where some people would call it this overacting. Maybe you guys would be like, oh my god, no, he didn't overact. For me, in some places, yes. It's not that he's a bad actor, that's probably the style of the movie, and the director wanted it this way. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let it slide like that, definitely not. But that's just my opinion. So definitely so much better than Pathaan. Oh, I'm so glad. Then Nayathara, I've never watched a movie with her, and I have to say her performance was so strong and I loved it so much. In general, this whole idea that this movie was so, even though we had Shah Rukh Khan as this hero in the movie, hero, anti-hero, villain, call it whatever you want. Even though we had him as this big person, this big star, we had so many strong women in this. They also kind of were the leads of this movie. And this is just what I absolutely love. These women-centered topics. This women jail, not that much of a spoiler though, I can mention that. And the 6 girls helping Shah Rukh Khan, which you could see in the trailer and which you can explore more in the movie when you watch it. And Nayathara, just really, I loved her acting in this. It was really natural. I loved her attitude, and it would have been the cherry on top if, yeah, her love story with Shah Rukh Khan would have been explored in a better way. So that brings me to the 6 girls. They were all so amazing. Also, I loved especially the stories, their background stories we got to explore, and it always made me, my mother, so emotional. Oh my god. This is also what I didn't expect about this movie, that it will make me cry. Oh my god. So that was really so amazing, the topics they explored in this movie, and made me also like, oh my god, I never thought about this. It kind of woke me up as an audience of what also goes wrong in a country, in its government, and not only in India. This also makes you wake up in your own country too. Some topics, a topic that I don't want to specifically talk about as it will spoil something, but I was like, this is also happening here in Germany right now too. And some other things probably also, maybe not as extreme, but I'd say this happens in every country. So yeah, loved her performance. Vijay Sethupathi, the same thing. I've also never watched a movie with him, and I know that both actors are like kind of veteran actors now, even though they aren't as old, but veteran actors in South India in the film industry. He was also so amazing. I can't wait to watch Merry Christmas. From his look, from his outer appearance, he looked unrecognizable. I don't know how this is pronounced, but I hope you know what I mean. So he looked so different in Jawan than he looked from the trailer in Merry Christmas. And I loved him as the villain. I could really take him seriously, you know, even though it was this big messy masala thing sometimes in those kind of movies which have that kind of style. I at least can't take these villains seriously, and I could take him seriously, and he was unhinged and reckless, and I loved that about him, and his acting was top-notch. Then obviously about, oh, my queen Deepika, she was also so amazing in this, and I love this. It kind of reminded me of Vani's purpose in War. Deepika's role had a purpose, you know. Sometimes movies bring in big actors or actresses, and they just bring them there so people come to the theater to watch them, or just it's like a little gimmick when we even don't know if when these people appear, you watch this movie and like, oh my god, he or she's awesome in this, how great, but they don't really have that much of a purpose. And I love that about Deepika, and Sanjay Dutt in the end also. So that was just so amazing. Her acting was so nice and so emotional, and again, she was also the strong woman. She wasn't the damsel in distress, even though she endured what she endured in that movie, but she wasn't like, she was taking it this way, you know, so without spoiling too much. Sanjay Dutt, cool as a sock, really loved his attitude in there too. It was kind of felt like he played himself there, but I loved it. Then also, I think the last thing that I want to talk about now, a small thing which I also didn't like that much, which adds to this why I didn't like the style. Actually, I really liked the action sequences, especially Shah Rukh Khan was amazing, Nayathara also, Deepika too, but I'd say Shah Rukh Khan and Nayathara had like the most action sequences. I'd say Shah Rukh Khan the most. And for his age, oh my god, so amazing how flexible he is. I'm not sure if he also had some kind of stunt doubles, maybe. The action sequences were amazing, but I didn't like how they were edited. Because they were so fast and so fluent, and it kind of reminded you of the quality in Hollywood. But I didn't like the editing. Most of the time they kind of made it into slow motion, and it gave me this quality of Hiropanti sometimes. Hiropanti 2, where it's just too much of showing these action sequences, which were actually so amazing, but then always using these slow motion thingies. Yeah, actually I wanted to show it this way in slow motion so that we go like, oh my god, but it just gave me cringe moments, you know, and I didn't like that at all. Because actually the action sequences were really amazing. So guys, that is my review about Jawan. Thank you so much for listening, watching this video. So guys, that's enough for this video. Please tell me your opinion about this movie Jawan in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, gotta follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, ring the bell so you don't miss anything in the future, and on Patreon you can find the full movie reaction on Jawan. So guys, that's enough for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye.